gentlemen, the satellite sector has been fairly resilient to the current economic climate, but walking around the shows, some people are starting to feel the pinch a bit. I mean, how do you perceive what's happening in the market, particularly within your sector?
The industry is going through a lot of changes, but one of the things that we continue to see is there's a demand for bandwidth. With the new applications that are being developed across a number of vertical sectors, we're seeing a requirement which is really fueling the launch of several new satellites that will take place from 2013 onwards. We're launching our Ka-band satellites really to respond to the demand that we're seeing for increased bandwidth that's taking us beyond our current L-band capability. And certainly we expect that trend to continue in sectors such as aviation and government markets and the media sector as well. As we start to approach HD and 3D, there's a demand for increased bandwidth to support the requirements that customers have in the marketplace today.
The government's taking a bit of a hit, isn't it, with the financial climate? Surely governments are reducing their spending, so what are you offering them that is enticing them to, say, spend the money?
Well, I think government is reducing in certain areas. We're seeing certainly defense budgets are shrinking, but we're still seeing investment in other areas such as education and healthcare. And as those projects take place in remote areas, satellite technology in many instances is being seen as a technology that can address those requirements. Increasingly, we're focused on areas such as e-learning, distance learning, remote healthcare, and terrestrial networks and 3G can't always address those requirements. M10 is another area where we're seeing a lot of development, and the explosion of connected devices in the world requires some sort of backhaul mechanism. Satellite equally is addressing some of those requirements.
Now, I was talking to an operator earlier who said the message still isn't getting out about what satellite can really do. I mean, do you feel that's correct, or?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't totally mimic this. I think satellites have been around for a long time, and I think satellites bridge the gap where terrestrials cannot fulfill the need. That's something I think everybody knows at this point in time, and that they can provide added value in certain situations. So I'm not sure if there is certainly the need to keep promoting the satellites and showing what we can do, but I think there is some understanding of what the satellite industry can provide today.
Inmarsat have always been at the forefront of bringing out new systems and so on, and particularly the one that everybody is eagerly awaiting, which is Global Xpress. I mean, what's so special about it? You know, I'm sitting from the outside and everybody's talking about it. But,
there are several key features which are special about Global Xpress. If I had to name a few of them, I would say global coverage. This is a unique, distinctive feature of Global Xpress. We're going to have up and running 3 satellites, global coverage by the end of next year, and this is a key feature of the system. So this is one. Broadband connectivity, speed up to 50 megabits per second is another key feature, which is very important. Reliability, we're going to be able, through our partnership with Cisco, we're developing a platform that will connect together our L-band network and our Ka-band network, so that we're going to have a proposition which is basically unparalleled today for the always-on mobility requirement in the world. So there are some special features that I don't see today in any other system that's going up there.
And who are going to be the key customers for this system?
Well, we're going to serve users in the maritime, government, enterprise, and aviation sector. So all the sectors are topped by Global Xpress, certainly.
But how's this going to affect your existing maritime products?
Well, I will let Drew answer to this.
I think it complements our existing portfolio of products. And one of the strengths that Stefano was just mentioning is the fact that we will have our L-band capability alongside our Ka-band technology. Our L-band portfolio is still very vibrant. We continue to invest in bringing new services to market, such as launching our higher data rate streaming service later this year. But what we see is that there are certain customers who have a requirement that goes beyond our L-band capability. And where that is the case, we'll complement that with Global Express. Many of the customers we serve today will have a number of terminals that are L-band and some that are Ka-band, and we'll look to bring that together in a single hybrid offering. And that will truly differentiate us in the market, being able to support a broader array of requirements for a single customer. But equally, it'll take us into new markets. It'll take us into areas where we haven't been able to effectively support previously, such as bureau connectivity for the media sector. And it takes us into sort of flyway and fixed VSAT type solutions within the maritime sector. So where there's a demand for more bandwidth than we can currently support, we'll have the ability to deliver that with Global Express.
And if I in the same line, if there is some, if we're going to free some resources in the L-band, as Drew mentioned before, there are markets like M2M, which are growing so fast, and we're able to address this market with the L-band constellation, the I4 constellation.
Are there going to be any obstacles to customers embracing Global Express? Is it as straightforward as you make it out to be? Or?
Well, I don't know what kind of obstacle are you thinking about? Technical or commercial obstacles? What?
Commercial, really.
Well, the way that we're gonna work this out is gonna be basically in the line of what Inmarsat has been doing so far. So we're partner with distribution partners, and during 2012 we already signed a number of technology and distribution agreements that do facilitate the rollout of Global Express and underpin its success. So we're pretty bullish about it. We're pretty positive. The market is responding very well.
So outside of Global Express, where is Inmarsat going? You're a big company. What other things have you got on the table?
I think Global Express is quite significant for us. We also have a launch of a AlphaSat satellite later this year, which will enhance our I4 capability, so our existing generation of satellites. We are introducing our higher data rate streaming service, which will increase our capability for media and government customers across the existing BGAN platform that we have today. And as mentioned, we are also expanding in the opposite direction and looking at M2M and these markets that have a requirement for less data but on a more frequent basis. So in many ways, we're expanding in both directions. We are increasing our capacity and our ability to support customers who have a higher data requirement. But at the same time, we're also recognizing and repurposing our L-band portfolio to address a new set of customers who were perhaps previously inaccessible to us.
It's a very competitive world out there. There's a lot of operators. Are there any plans to expand by acquiring?
There's always a lot of consolidation in this industry. There's a lot of changes. Certainly the strategy that we've put forth is very much about organic growth. But we're always looking at the market to ensure that we understand what's the best approach to optimize business performance. And if it suggests that we need to look at moving in a different direction, then obviously that's something we'd consider.
And finally, looking generally, not about Inmarsat, but about the industry as a whole, what are the obstacles going forward? It's not going to be plain sailing. We've got the economic climate, which is starting to improve. We've got a lot of competition. We've got a lot of satellites going up there. What are going to be the obstacles you see?
Well, I've got a view on that, and then I'll pass over to my colleague. I think you articulated it earlier when you said there's a lot of competition in this market. There's a plethora of operators who are launching new services and differentiating them. It's going to be difficult, and I think it's important, it's imperative that the successful operator differentiates themselves in the market, but also recognizing that it's not just about providing a pipe in the sky, it's not just about bandwidth, it's about working with an ecosystem of partners to deliver an end-to-end solution that addresses customer requirements. One of the things that Inmarsat has done recently is started to evolve its business model to recognize that we serve different customers with different requirements, and to ensure that we're tailoring our propositions, our packages to address those requirements. I believe it's imperative that organizations recognize that there are unique elements to the way that our customers are looking to do business, and they need to be able to structure themselves efficiently to address that.
Well, another dimension of this is take it a little bit aside is the regulatory environment in our industry. When you look at, well, if you want to look at Asia Pacific, for instance, very fragmented market, also from the regulatory perspective. So this needs to be treated very thoroughly and needs a lot of attention from a satellite operator. Right? But it's not limited to Asia Pacific. You go in Africa, you find the same thing, Latin America. So most of the BRIC markets, for instance, puts us in front of some challenges in this perspective.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you very much.